Good morning everyone. Let us move ahead. So in the previous class we have discussed regarding files. Here we have seen what is a file. It is some information or data which stays in a computer storage device. We know that it resides on the secondary memory, and we know that the secondary memory is non-volatile. We have even seen the different ways of opening a file. So we use the open function. When it comes to the file operation, we know that it is opening, closing, reading a file, writing a file. You need to seek the file position, or you can even change the position of cursor. So there are total 6 operations that you can perform on a file. The first one we dealt with was opening a file. Here you can see we make use of the open function. So you need to have a file handle dot open method. 2 arguments to be passed to it. One is the complete path name of the file, and then second is which mode you need to open it. The different modes that we have come across are read, write and append. In addition to these, there are other modes wherein you can even have an R plus, W plus and so on, right? And if in case you don't specify any path, we know that the default mode is the read mode. In order to close a file, you need to use the file handle dot close method. So this F1 is nothing but the file handle name, whatever you have given, dot close method, which does not take any parameters. When it comes to reading a file, we have seen that there are 3 ways in which you can do it. In the first one, you say file handle dot read. So whenever you're performing any file operation, this file handle becomes important. So whatever you have named the file handle, you can see that on that you're applying the read, read line or read lines method. In case of read, we have seen it reads the entire file. In case of read line, it reads line by line. And in case of read lines, you know that it creates a list of the file. So that is how we can read a file. So this is what we have dealt with in our previous class. That is the first 3 operations of file handling. Today we move ahead with the next 3 operations, wherein now you will see how we search through a file, right? When you search through data in a file, it is a common pattern to read through a file, ignoring most of the lines and only processing lines which meet a particular condition. So this is the situation most of the time. Whenever we are dealing with files, we're not interested in all the data in the files, but we're looking for a particular information in that file. So how do you go about it? Again, you need to open the file first in order to search through it. So you have a file handle, open bio.txt. So this is our file name that we have given, the text file that was created. Then we are using a for loop for line in hand, which means that now for every line in this file handle, you have the data with respect to bio.txt. We are checking if that line starts with T, right? You're printing that line. So you're checking which are all the lines in the file they're starting with T. It depends on the context you have in the file, right? So here you can give something which you know that is already there in the file. So since we had a sentence called take care in our file, I have given starts with T. You know that starts with the method wherein anything that starts with that particular thing is being checked, right? So this is what we are doing. So starts with T you're checking. So if in case the thing happens to be true, it is going to print the line. So when you execute this particular code in your .py file, you need to put this entire code in a file with .py extension. You would see that this is the output if in case you are using the same file that I have used, right? We have seen in our previous class that I had included 3 sentences in our file, bio.txt. So make sure this txt file exists, whatever you are using, when you run this particular code. Writing to a file. Now as we had the .open method, we have the .write method. So in order to open it is open, in order to close it is .close, to write it is .write. So only for the open method you are using file handle equal to open. For all others you are using the dot operator, right? So here first we need to open a file in order to write it. So now one thing to note about the write mode. What are we trying to do here? You knew that open accepts 2 arguments. One is the file path and second is the mode in which you need to open it. So here I am opening it in write mode. When you open it in write mode, if the file doesn't exist, it creates it, right? But if you have an existing file which you are opening in write mode, it will overwrite all the data and write this whatever you are asking it to write. So you need to be careful when you're opening the file in write mode. In case you want the previous data saved, then you need to open it in append mode. So here I've opened it in write mode. So you see that whatever text was there earlier, it gets overwritten and this is the line you will have in the file. So I'm saying f hand dot write. Let's face and fight, right? This is a line I want to write to the file. After that, I'm closing the file. So file handle dot close. File again to check whether it has written it to the file. What I'm doing, file handle equal to open. I'm opening the same text file. This time I'm opening it in the read mode. Then you need to print file handle dot read and then close. So you see that now in my file there is only one line, let's face and fight. Earlier there were 3 lines which have been overwritten because of this write mode. A simple program to copy your file. So you need to import the sys module. Now f1 equal to open bio.txt, s equal to f1.read. So now in this particular s, I am reading the contents of file 1 and then you're closing the file. So whatever data was there in f1, now it is in s. Now you're taking a second file handle and opening a new file in which you're opening it in write mode. So this time whatever is being read here, you want to write it to this, right? So here it was the read mode. By default, here it is the write mode. Now what you're doing, f2.write. In order to write to a file, what are you writing? All the contents of f1. This is how you're copying the contents of f1 into f2. Once you write it, you're then opening it in order to read it. So again you need to do a open new.txt. Why we are doing it again? Because this time you want to open it in read mode. So when you open it in read mode now, f2.read and then f2.close. Excuse me. So this is how you a simple program to copy a file. Program to count the number of lines. Now this is using try and except. What are we trying to do here? You know that try and except we are using for exception handling. Whatever statements you feel there could be a possibility of an error, you are putting it in the try block, and what is to be done as a part of a solution that you are putting in the except block. So you see that first we are going to, and here we are taking the file name from the user as input. So what we are trying to do here, if name equal to input, enter the file name. So what are you trying to do here? Accepting the file name from the user. Then try f and equal to open f name. So your mode is not specified, you have just given the file name. Now why are we putting it in the try block? So that if the file doesn't exist, it gives you a file not found error, right? Or if there is some problem opening it. So then in this except block, see you have written print file cannot be opened. What is the name of that file? And then you are doing the exit. So that if it is not able to open, it is not going to go ahead and it's going to exit the program. But if in case nothing goes wrong here, okay, it will directly come to this part. Except block is skipped. So what it does, count equal to 0 for line and file handle, count equal to count plus 1. So it will print there were whatever number of count, that many lines in the file name. So this is how the output would look like. It is asking enter the file name. You entered it. Since there was no error as such, it just printed this line. There were 1 lines in new.txt because we had only 1 line. So simple way to count the number of lines in a program. The last thing that remains is the file tell and file seek method in case of files. So if you can see here, whenever you want to know the current position of the cursor in the file, so basically when the current position is dealing with the cursor, where it is, where you have stopped reading, so that is what is given by f.tell. When you want to change the current position of the cursor in a file, you are using the f.seek. So in order to understand these two methods, let us take a simple program which is making use of both of these. So you see, this entire program has been written with comments in order for easier understanding. First we need to open a file. So f equal to open, this time it is me.txt and we are opening in r plus mode. What is the data equal to? So this is a variable. You are reading this f.read, and in bracket when you specify a particular integer, it is reading that many number of lines. So when you give or pass a number, you are not reading the entire file, but from the beginning you are reading up to 19 characters. So reading 19 characters from the file, and then what you are trying to do is print. Read string it. Whatever you have read, you are printing it here. Next you want to check the current position of cursor. Sudo position equal to f.tell. So whatever this is being returning, that you are storing in a variable called position. So you can say current file position, and then it prints the position. So what it would print, since you have read 19 characters, it would show you the cursor in the next position, and that is what it would print here. If you want to reposition pointer at the 5th position, now since the cursor is at about maybe 20th position, you want to reposition at 5th. So what you're trying to do, position equal to file.seek 5, 0. Telling it to be aligned at the 5th position, and then data equal to f.read 10. Print again read string is, so that time 10 characters from starting with the 5th position will be printed. Reposition pointer at beginning once again, right? So what you're trying to do now, reposition pointer at the beginning once again. So what you're trying to do here, you want again it to come back here. So instead of beginning, since you had read 10, you have given 10 and then 0. Your data equal to f.read 5. Print again read string as data, right? So actually this is not the beginning. Here you are again positioning at the 10, because when you say beginning, it is at 0th position. From here you are again reading 10, again read string. So you can do a trial and error basis whatever integers you are trying to pass and check out how tell and seek work, right? So when it comes to dealing with file operations, those are the things. So this is the output. In me.txt we had some text. Initially you read 19 characters, that gave you the file position as 20. Then you realigned it to 5th, so you can see it read characters from here onwards. Then you realigned it to 10th position and you wanted it to read 5 characters from there, right? So all this includes a blank space also. And then finally again you realigned it to starting, and then this is the number of characters you wanted to read. So we've got 10, so including the blank space it happens to be 10. So when it comes to file operations for today, we have seen how you search through a file, how you write to a file, and then how you use the file tell and file seek methods, right? So go through this because this ends your module 2. If you want to deal in depth quite a lot many things when it comes to files, but as syllabus point of view, these are the few things that you need to work on. So see that in order to have a better understanding of the concept, you work out these in your IDE, that is the PyCharm or Anaconda, whichever you're comfortable with, right? So go through it. This ends your module 2. So up to now we have covered your module 1, module 2, and from module 3 I have already covered the list concept. For our next class we shall start with dictionaries. Have a nice day. Thank you.